Welcome to Scofield Farm. Today, I'm going to take you on our October garden tour. This is the end of October, the last couple days, and there are some really cool things I want to show you in my garden. We are very fortunate to live in Northern California. We are in Zone 9B, and we do grow food year-round, and it is a bit of a challenge this year. I'm going to share with you today some real life gardening disappointments. I was looking forward to this tour. I have done a lot of work just starting to transition my garden to our cooler weather garden. I'm going to show you the really cool things. There's great things happening, but there are real disappointments. And I think it's something that maybe people can relate to, because I know I can't be the only one that has things go wrong in a garden that could also be looked out from the outside as being really thriving. So let's get started. I will show you as I go the good, the bad, the real, the ugly, and the messy. All right, let's start. If you're new here, I have been gardening, growing food for about 15-ish years. I kind of lose track. I honestly try to gear it by a certain son of mine, and I was big old pregnant in the summer growing food, waiting for him to be born. But I also grew herbs and strawberries and attempted a Meyer lemon tree years and years before that. Flowers, all that kind of fun stuff. But veggie gardening, I have really fallen in love with. I love to grow food for my family, and you can see some of our harvest right here. My first year growing these and Trobacino squash, they did really well. I don't have tons and tons of them, though there's a few new ones over on the vine I'll show you, but that's super fun because I love butternut squash. This is one of our favorites. We have quite a few left on a couple different vines that I'm kind of letting get a little more mature before I put them out to cure. What I'm doing right here, I want to show you, is I am actually curing my winter squash so they'll store better. You pick them when the stem around it, when the vine around it is getting brown. When you press your fingernail into it, it stays like firm. It doesn't pierce the skin. Then you put it out just to kind of sit on like a shelf, like a wire shelf or something like that. And you let it kind of harden the shell. And then these, like this spaghetti squash, should last a long time for you. So this is fun. This is not even all of it. I'll show you some over there on the vines, but I wanted to show you that real fast as we get started, because we love having things that we can eat during the winter and that store well, not just have things that we can harvest fresh in the winter, though we do grow things over the winter, and I'll talk to you about what we grow. And so while we're over here with our winter squash, I'll start with this bed. Right here is my Jamaican Roselle hibiscus, and you will see those are calyx that form after the flower has bloomed. This is what you actually harvest from the plant. You don't harvest the flowers. You dry the calyx, and you'll take the seed pod from inside the calyx, take it out, and then I actually lay the calyx basically like skin on our dehydrator, and I dehydrate it for a wonderful drink my husband grew up drinking in Guatemala. Over here, this bed, I call this my leek bed. It's wild and crazy. You can see literally zinnia spilling out all over it. We have lots of tomatillos growing low in the bottom of this bed. We have made salsa verde a lot of times, and I don't know if I'll have time to share with you my salsa verde recipe or not. We'll see kind of how time goes. The fall's very busy for us, but we basically developed a salsa verde recipe that we really enjoy, and our tomatillos have done so good this year. It's been really nice. We've actually made salsa verde more than we've made the more traditional salsa, just because that's what has thrived in our garden this year. Now this bed also has tomatoes. They have not done that great this year for me, but you'll look and there are some that are green, and that's kind of how it is here. Tomatoes seem to have a hard time in our extreme heat, but once we get to the fall, we start to get tomatoes that come on the vine, and it's just a matter of, you know, it gets colder, shorter daylight. Are they gonna ripen very well out here? Are we gonna have to harvest a bunch of green tomatoes and have them ripen on the counters and in trays? We do that before our first frost, but you'll see like this one right here is changing colors. So this is more of the time of year I get like a bumper crop of tomatoes. Right now it's more like the normal crop of tomatoes that you should expect. But I'm thankful anyway that we get finally a bit cooler temps to have them set fruit and ripen. Down here, you'll see why I call it my leek bed. We grow leeks. I planted them really only, I think, 2 seasons, but they're perennial in our area. And what they'll do is when you harvest them when they're ready, this one's not quite ready, though I could harvest it. It just would be a small one. They put down like little, almost garlic clove, like sets, and they fall off without me even knowing always, and they will reseed and regrow. And you can see the tomatillos are everywhere in this bed. So leeks, all different leeks. Once we take this tomato and Thai basil out after frost, we'll just cut them at the soil line, and then you'll really be able to see all the leeks in this bed in future videos. And we'll probably put down maybe something like lettuce in there as well. We did that last year. The Thai basil is so beautiful. It really is so pretty, and the bees love it. We do keep bees. So I enjoy having herbs flower for my bees, but Thai basil actually still tastes really good after it flowers. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. It is frost tender, so I will probably do another harvest of Thai basil. This is more Thai basil. It just is so happy here. We have chives we've been harvesting as we go. And oh, the tomatillo skin there. But we've been harvesting this. We have been making pesto with it. I have a video about how I like to make my pesto and include other herbs that we have a lot of in the garden. I have made Thai basil pesto before. It's a little more licoricey, and I might do that because of how much Thai basil I have. I've dried a lot of it for curries and for teas in the winter because I like to drink it as a herbal tea. But I've been putting chives in my pesto, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below. It's great to be able to think outside the box for pestos, and traditionally we think of like an Italian basil, which I like to include in there as well. But there's a lot of herbs, a lot of ways you can make pesto. You can be creative with it. So I grow a lot of herbs, and I like to experiment and try things to find the flavors that we enjoy. So mostly that is what this bed is it's Thai basil, it's tomatillos, it's tomatoes, it's chives, and leeks. And climbing through my Jamaican roselle. Oh, I want to show you this bed. I'm going in a totally different order than I usually do. This bed is so hard to walk by because those beautiful zinnia are right in the path. And it looks like down here, I have some eggplant ready to harvest. These eggplant were kind of late to produce for me. Yeah, quite a few. So I need to harvest those later. But we love eggplant. We grow it, and we mostly will eat it as like a side, sauteed lightly in like butter or avocado oil. And it's really good. My whole family enjoys it. This is just a beautiful view. Let's just sit on this for a while in golden hour. And how the mess is very pretty, and yet too messy for me to walk that way. So we're gonna walk around the other way. I am being interrupted by roosters, but also I'm gonna have to go an alternate route. That's what happened this year in the garden, is I let the zinnia grow up everywhere. And I'm very glad I did, because they have brought me a lot of joy in a year that has been very difficult gardening. I told you guys I would share with you some failures, and this year has been hard. Let me show you this bed, and then I'll share with you some of the hard that we've experienced in gardening, specifically in growing food that has been a little different than past years. Okay, down here, this bed is not only full of zinnias and eggplant, but we have this lovely chard that I want to say this is on its 3rd or 4th year. Chard can be a perennial. What I do is I pinch back when it tries to bolt. And finally, oh, there's lots of bugs there. We are organic. Finally, it accepts it and it just kind of bushes out and it sweetens up in the winter, but I like it in green smoothies. I have a lot of hot peppers in this bed. This, I believe, is a Thai chili dragon. I love to make hot sauce with this. I think I have a video about that somewhere I can link. And I have cayennes. I have, yeah, a lot of cayennes here. More cayenne over there. I think that's cayenne. I do have zinnia spilling out, more chard. And I have some random volunteer cabbages, which are so bug ridden you don't want to see, but they came up, I think, just from stuff I cut at the soil line at the end of winter and spring. This is a serrano that is very late to fruit. It did so bad. It was so stunted, but now it's full of beautiful serranos. I like to put those in hot sauces. I like to put them in salsa. I like them in eggs. So yeah, this is what a lot of my serranos, they were just so little and puny, and they're usually really big. We have some different beans. I started these beans late. I direct sowed them and they were supposed to go up here as noodle beans and they just haven't thrived. The other beans I sowed though, these I believe are Provider and they've done pretty well. Honestly, quite a few I direct sowed did not come up very well, but you can see here, there are some more beans ready to be picked. And yeah, my direct sowing efforts even, I had a hard time, like some stuff just didn't come up. Oh, that's a really mature bean right there. I think that I direct sowed well over 100 beans. And I've always done pretty well with soaking them overnight, direct sowing them. They avoid a lot of the pest pressure when I wait later in the summer to sow them to harvest over the fall. And that's what I did again. And just, I would say maybe a third of them came up. Like there's literally whole sections of here that are really bare in my garden because the beans that I sowed there did not come up. And a couple of them I sowed there twice. So I don't know if birds ate them. I don't know. We've had just such an intense pest pressure. I wasn't gonna say predator pressure, but pest pressure that it's been honestly so discouraging, not just in direct sowing, but even in transplanting stuff and in ground squirrels. I think we've had voles. I know we've had gophers. We have had probably rats and mice. I mean, we live out in the country. We have 3.5 acres just outside the second sunny city in the US. And so yeah, there's going to be more pest pressure. We also have had a lot of aphids. That happens a lot when it's dry here in our climate, but we have not had a lot of ladybugs this year, which is unusual. Usually if I just kind of leave the aphids or I spray them off with a hose, just a strong blast of water, the ladybugs will come. I did not notice a lot of ladybugs. So I didn't feel like I had a lot of help from some of my friendly insects. And it's just been a different year in that way. A lot of our fruit have been stolen. A lot of our plants have been taken. But again, this beauty, even when I'm discouraged, it does make me smile just to see flowers. And if you're planting a garden and planning what you're going to do next year, I would definitely recommend to plan on herbs and flowers in your garden because it not only brings pollinators, but it is beautiful. It's a reason to come out and see things and to enjoy things. And diversity in the garden is always a really, really good thing. This next bed also have a lot of peppers, but it's very diverse. We have more eggplant. We have a mess of Bermuda grass, which I like to call chokeweed, growing in the paths because of the gopher pressure. It actually mixed in our wood chips into the soil and made it so that seeds were exposed to be able to germinate. I have tons of calendula that I have to deadhead. This one is called, I think it's called Snow Princess. Very pretty color that was new for me this year. And you'll see that I have like so much to deadhead. And because of physical issues I've had this year with my shoulder and my back, I have not cleaned up and deadheaded flowers as well as I usually do, but you know, I will probably cut them back severely. These come back for us all winter long. So if I just give a good chopping to this, I think we will have flowers come back. In here we have more Thai basil, lots of flowers, and we have a lot of peppers, as I said. It's a very diverse bed. This is Sugar Rush Peach. These have not turned peach yet, but they've done very well for me this year. We have eaten so many. It is my kids' favorite hot sauce, and I did not make the hot sauce yet because we are enjoying them every single day in eggs, in dishes we cook, in salsas. They are just so good. They're so good. We have some jalapenos still. They have not done as well for me this year as in the past. I don't know. I was hoping for a lot of them, but luckily made a lot of cowboy candy last year, so I think I can wait a year for making more of that. We just, you know, they're so versatile, so it's nice to have them. We also grow Santa Fe Grande, which are similar to me as a jalapeno, just a little more fruity and sometimes a little more mild, but you know how jalapenos, they totally range. Yeah, this is a royal mess. Guys, I'm not exaggerating when I'm like, have to figure out how to even get by here. But look, it's so pretty. It's worth the mess of trying to show you guys things. I want to show you a new to me pepper down here if I can find it. Okay, here it is. This is lemon drop. I have a batch of lemon drop hot sauce that's fermenting right now up in the cupboard. I'm excited to see how that tastes. It's been very fruitful for me. I don't know if you can really see them because a lot of them are still green. We keep picking the yellow ones off and they're real spicy, so I'm excited about that. Also, Scotch bonnet do really good in our area. These are a nice fruity cousin of habanero, and we just really like that in our curries and cooking. It is so good. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to get over this. Try not to trip on flowers. Oh goodness, I'm going a totally different path of showing you the garden, but we're gonna do the grow bags next. Real quick, if you enjoy garden tours, growing food, homesteading videos, real videos where things aren't perfect, follow us, follow along, join us, and we'd love to have you. You can like this video so that YouTube shares with more people, and I'd love to have you in our little community. I'd love for you to comment and give me advice or tips, or if you relate. I mean, you could be gardening for so long, growing food for so long, and new things happen, and you, me, are thrown a new curveball. We learn from each other. I'd love to hear from you. This is our first year we have grown potatoes in grow bags. I have a whole video about our first harvest, which is so hysterical because we were so freaked out of tons of wolf spiders when we were harvesting. But this is our second sowing of them in the grow bags. We often harvest potatoes the week of Christmas and use them in our Christmas stew. I love to make a venison or beef stew every year for my family. So that is kind of waiting for us. I've got some like dead looking sunflower. I told you I'd be real. There is ugly in my garden too. Okay, so I kind of want to show you this mess that I was really like, I don't usually just let my tomatoes get this out of control. They are their own thing. They've fallen all the way to the ground and are like cascading and growing back up. So these are mostly my heirloom tomatoes, and they are packed with green fruit. And I'm very, very thankful because a lot of fun varieties I didn't get much from because we had the hottest June that I think we've ever had. We had the hottest temps of the whole year in June. That's not normal. Look at all those green tomatoes. I mean, I'm telling you, there are so many under there. And I really want these tomatoes. And I don't know, my husband has tried to help me kind of tie some up, but this one is just its own beast, its own thing. Look at that. There are some decent sized tomatoes I'm really excited to enjoy. So also it looks like I had a chicken in here. Really excited to enjoy them too. Sartrelois is a variety right here. See the purple shoulders? It has always done very, very well for me. I highly recommend it. When it's ripe, it's like yellow with purple shoulders. It's very tasty, but it's always been super fruitful for an heirloom. So that's my recommendation. But I want to show you something very disappointing to me down here below the Sartrelois. Guys, I don't even know entirely how to show you this. It looks like a bunch of nothing, right? Like here's my pink celery. Well, that, whatever that is out. Oh, I think that's something else's root. Leave it alone, I guess. Okay, so pink celery, right? And then it looks like nothing. See this tag right here? I spent my Saturday planting all my cabbage out, all of my cauliflower, all of my broccoli, and the pests took all of them. Like, I worked really hard trying to get a really thick zinnia out, you know, those really thick stems they can get. And I used loppers. I've had shoulder surgery in January. I told you guys that. I've had severe back issues. It was hard. My husband had a migraine. My boys were off at soccer. I didn't have any help. And I did the work. I did the hard work. And my cabbage are gone. And I'm not even positive what took them. Like, was it slugs? Was it roly-polies? Those have eaten young plants for me many, many times. Was it ground squirrels? Was it a chicken that got in here and ate them? Gophers can't pull them down. We have hardware cloth under our raised beds. We have an area in our garden that gophers did take ground cherries because it's the only area that's like an in-ground garden. And I had to pivot huge on some of my planting because of that. But this has no reason for it to be sucked down. So I was hoping to show you on this garden tour all the hard work I did this weekend of planting out my fall starts, which I started inside. I did the hard work of starting them inside, of taking care of them. Real quick, over here, my asparagus are in self-watering raised containers and they are crazy, and I'm just gonna leave them to be crazy till frost and then I'll cut them back. But my heart is sad, you guys. My heart is sad. I was so excited to like show you and celebrate with you and say, hey guys, I got them in. All that work, all that lead up. I talked to you guys about how I really did not feel like planting a fall garden because I was so tired and bordering burnt out. And I came out here and I did the work of getting the starts in. And like right here too, let me show, there's a couple that have stems. The other side, there was not even evidence of there ever being plants. But this is just as real of a garden tour to show you as beautiful plants and flowers and abundant food, because I could just choose to show you all these tomatoes. But if I don't include this disappointment of like, here, this says amazing cauliflower, 75 days. And this, my friends, is all that's left of one of the amazing cauliflower. This, you can barely even see it, the stem. And several of them, they didn't even leave a stem. I have a couple different kinds of cauliflower that were supposed to be in this bed. I was so excited to share with you guys. So my husband put beer traps out last night. He didn't make them very deep, but there's not even one slug or roly-poly in there yet. Here, that's my purple cauliflower. I don't even know what to say. I don't know if I should laugh or cry. Tomatoes, Beautiful. Purple cauliflower. And that, my friends, is gardening. That is the reality, is when you choose to grow a garden and you choose to homestead and you choose to grow food for your family, you will be disappointed at some time. I guarantee it. You will be surprised by pest pressure, by weather, by all the things that could go wrong. Seems like Murphy's Law. Sometimes they do all go wrong, and sometimes they all go wrong. It feels like in the same season where you're like, why am I doing this? And I don't know, I was thinking about a garden video I made last year that said, should you grow a garden? And I'll link to it, but just to summarize for you, I am real about the disappointments in that video, and that there are still reasons to grow a garden besides the food production, besides the flower production. There are reasons that are valuable. And in times like this, where I want to show you this amazing garden tour, and I want to show you the different tomatoes. Ooh, like this one. Of course, it's changing color and it's eaten by pests. We have traps set for gophers. We have traps set for ground squirrels. Another one. Looks like it's just starting to change. Eaten. I wish I could tell you I was some amazing, perfect gardener. I don't wish I could tell you that, actually, because it's not real. Nobody is without disappointments. This one, I can tell you, it looks like it's barely changing there, but it's coming inside, and I'm going to hide it, and I'm going to let it change on the counter because this pest thing is insanity. Oh, here's one. Here. One happy, fully ripened, vine ripened tomato that doesn't have a bite out of it. So we're real around here. We share what's really happening, and maybe it could encourage somebody else who has had a hard gardening year or season or planting time. You are not alone. You are not alone. It happens to all of us at some point. Over here is the in-ground bed that I mentioned to you. I was going to direct sow sweet potatoes. I was going to have my tomatillos over here. I moved them when the ground cherries were stolen, but I do have some butternut squash still changing color on the vine. I have a very dead looking sunflower. Need to clean that up. Okay. I pivoted and put my sweet potatoes into this grow bag. It is a 30-gallon grow bag. I don't know what the yield will be, but I can tell you this evidence shows there's still tunneling going on in this bed. I did not trust this bed to plant anything. I did harvest a decent sized harvest of potatoes because like this is a volunteer potato, because I have grown potatoes here several times. So if they leave those alone, I guess I will get a harvest, and I already did get a harvest here, but I need to do something different over here. These calendula are very pretty. See, flowers make me pause and realize all is not lost. Over here is another wall of tomatoes that also have a lot of green ones. Let's hope that the pests don't get them first. Down here, I showed you guys, I talked to you guys, I think it was maybe my Q&A, I don't remember which one it was, but a video where I planted out my Chinese cabbage, and at least these aren't completely eaten. I mean, it looks like this. That shouldn't look like that, but it's alive mostly. Maybe it can grow faster than they eat it. Like something is eating that. That is not, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it is, but I'm starting to think because of the traps, it is not slugs or pill bugs. Maybe it is birds. Maybe I need to put a bird covering over this. I have my Tulsi basil, which I've cut way back because I've harvested a ton. And this is hilarious, you guys. Okay. What is that in there? Do you see that? That is a loofah. The loofah are supposed to be way over there on the trellis, and they've kind of worked their way into the tomatoes. I'm going to brave my way through this. Before, there used to be a lot of strawberries here. I decided to work hard at cleaning up this path and offer them to local gardeners to transplant because they have thrived here, but I don't want to walk on strawberries. I thought it was a good idea and I changed my mind. Not a good idea. We're keeping them in just the raised bed. Okay, over here. This is a delight though. This is a happy place. My loofah are doing really well. Last year we made sponges with loofah for the first time. I want to tell you, if your loofah stay green before you have to harvest everything for frost, you can still make sponges with these. I have a video of how I did it. It was my first time. It worked. We have been using sponges all year long, and one of my boys who does dishes, there's one like smushed up there, don't get stuck. He told me the thing he's most excited for is for me to harvest loofah again and make more sponges. He wasn't sure about a veggie sponge and loves it. They are really great. We have them in our shower. We have them for doing dishes. And we haven't had to buy any synthetic sponges this whole calendar year. And that's doing dishes for a family of 9. We homeschool, so we eat at home like pretty much almost every meal, and snacks. We don't do paper plates. We don't do plastic plates or plastic cups. So it's a lot of dishes. And these have been so great. It's a great way to be sustainable. It's a great way to like cut down on something that you buy from the store. And for us, they don't actually flower and fruit till it cools down a little bit. So it's done well. Look at this one. This one's actually maybe gonna actually dry out on the plant. Next to it are spaghetti squash, and I've already harvested some you saw over there, but we have more growing like I told you. What else do we have over here? This, I think, maybe this is more Trobacino. I think that's what these flowers are. Yeah, those are Trobacino flowers. So I think it's a little late to get anything else from it, but I had taken down all of the lemon cucumber bug infested vines. Our lemon cucumbers did great this year, but it was time for them to go. I felt like it was the year of the cucumber. I was very happy with our cucumber, both our pickling and our lemon cucumber, and we direct sowed both of those because it felt easier to me with my surgery and all the other things I started inside. But they were a little like late to fruit, but they actually did really good, and we got a really good harvest. So I was very pleased with that. This bed, that was where the lemon cucumber were going up the trellis, is also peppers and eggplant. That's like a little viney eggplant. How funny. And flowers. We have a lot of zinnia here. My echinacea looks pretty sad. It's worse for the wear. I'm gonna wait till frost, I think, to cut it down, or maybe I will cut it for planting. I just haven't decided. My lettuce are not quite ready to plant, so I still have time. I'm waiting for them to get a little bigger before I sacrifice them to the pests. We have different bell peppers and sweet peppers in this bed. Oh, one eaten, but yeah. This was probably by pill bugs, I would guess, but it's pretty. We had a lot of these, and there's still quite a few on the plants. This is that same bed from the other side. There are lots of bell peppers over here. We have some snapdragons that are coming back. Last year they were literally this entire huge corner. I mean, I'm telling you, they were at least like 6 square feet of space. But bell peppers, different ones still developing. More snapdragons over there. We have eggplant in here. I've been cutting back the chives and using them. So you see one bush cut back, the other one is kind of hanging over the side. Just trying to use my herbs as I clean them up to make room to plant out garlic and onions and lettuce. Those are the main things I have left to plant out. I still haven't planted out my kale either. And I'll show you that. That's what the mystery is the kale is in trays and not touched. No. That is a pepper that, who knows what happened to it. Very strange. Over here is my cherry tomato bed. I do have, I think, green zebra in here too, and Dr. Wykes. Oh yeah, look. Here's a green zebra. Here's another green zebra. And those have done all right for me. And the Dr. Wikes have done all right, though bugs have sometimes, or pests, I would say probably hornworms or ground squirrels have eaten some of them before I got them inside. But we've had a lot of cherry tomatoes. This one right here, this is blue cream berries, and they're really good when they're fully ripe. This is not ripe enough. You want it to almost turn like a yellow color and barely have the purple shoulders for it to be really sweet. We also have berries, crazy cherries. My kids love these, so we grow them. They were late to produce well, but once they do, they have a lot of fruit. They're a nice yellow oblong. Oh, this one, this is a little more what the blue cream should look like. Do you see that coloring? That's what it should look like. Over here, we have sun gold, which is my very favorite. When you pick them, like this even, it's not quite as orange as I like to pick them. I like them really, really dark. They're very, very sweet. We also have black cherry. This is a family favorite too. We love these and we grow these every year. These two, every single year. This whole thing has definitely been a win. It's getting kind of ugly looking, but it's still packed with fruit, and we have harvested so much off of it. It is just kind of wild and crazy and beautiful and delicious. So good. More bad news that I want to share with you. My beets that we planted together are basically gone the same way. So something ate those too. And I don't get it, you guys. I don't do good with direct sowing beets because things eat them. So I always transplant them, and something ate them when I transplanted them. Like, you don't even see any beets. Well, right there, you see like 2 red stems. Like, that is ridiculous. Seriously, I always like to look on the bright side. And is it wasted to work at planting something, starting something, transplanting something to have them eaten? I think it builds character. It has to build character. I don't know what else to say about it. Right here is my strawberries. This is a beast. I have not thinned them for a year. I usually thin them a couple times a year. They're still producing just fine. This one's not quite right, but like, they're ever-bearing. They're really sweet. They're really good. I have offered some to people for a trade or like a small price locally. So if you're local, until frost really settles in, I still need to downsize my berries because they actually produce better if they have more space to get nutrients and stuff from the soil. But they're producing just fine. So could I imagine what they would produce if I would actually thin them like I'm supposed to? It is a 4x12 bed, and it is like my dream come true as a mama of 7, that my kids can just go out to the garden and pick fruit. They can pick cherry tomatoes, they can pick strawberries, and they can just snack and graze. And I love that. That is fun. That is a fun thing about growing food. And those flowers are a fun thing about growing flowers. These flowers in front of me, never grown celosia before. It's got these crazy pink tips. It's just like wild and crazy. It's so pretty. I was told they'd self-seed. I really hope they do because I never had a lot of seeds for them. Someone gave it to me on like Seed Wish Wednesday or something on Instagram. I want these to come back. I like these. In this bed, I have tons of chives that I've been trying to kind of chop back, trying to use. Oh my gosh, just a couple little tiny chamomile left. I think these are blush tomatoes right here, and then next to them we have the Brad's Atomic Grape. I like, they're very tie-dyed and kind of psychedelic-y looking. I think they're fun. I think they're yummy. I have some Italian basil down here. This is Emily basil. And yeah, there's quite a few. It's not the prettiest looking plant, but it's got quite a few fruit still left on it for the Brad's Atomic Grape. We have a few eggplant on the end here and a little volunteer lettuce, and that one's not being eaten, so that's so weird. But yeah, my lettuces that I'm transplanting are too small. I do not want them sacrificed. We have another eggplant. Isn't that fun? This one, I'm blanking on the name. I'm gonna put it on the screen for you, but this is a cool new one to me, new variety. And then we have onions coming back that I missed last year. That's fun. Lots of celery to harvest. This is the pink one. And that one's a pretty healthy pink one right there. We've also got the green celery to lean in here. I've got to do a big celery harvest because it is like crazy in this bed. Over here, I have a purple pole bean that was planted late, so we'll see how long we have good days. Sometimes we don't get frost till December. Usually it's mid-November. This is the end of October. I don't know, but they're beautiful. We have my Roma type tomatoes over here that, are they doing good? I don't know. They're not as good as last year. Like this one over here is packed. It's pretty packed, right? There's lots in there. I don't know if you see them because they're green, but well, we'll see. It's not the best bed, not the healthiest bed. I need to work on the soil. This is purple carpet alyssum. I really like alyssum. I really like the purple one. I like things that are purple. We have some red onions that are weirdly coming back, but I don't know why they're like coming out of the soil. It's so weird. Anyway, red onions right there that came back from last year because I have not planted my onions out yet this year. We have a giant sage bush. I'll show you from the other side. Oh my gosh. It is giant, and last year I had 2 of them. So we took out one last year and we only have 1 this year. And I have literally dried so much, given it away. It is still monstrous. It is taking up all of that garden space. So it is thriving. It is a little invasive. We have to work on trimming it back. Yeah, and then these are my candy canes, Zinnia. Isn't he pretty? I love little stripiness on them. And this color, Zinnia, this is interesting cross that I didn't actually buy it like this. Oh, look at that lighting. It's like an orangey one. It's so pretty. I love it, and I really want to save seeds from this one because I want to grow this one again. It is, woo, looks like flames from this direction. So beautiful. I told you guys that I had kale that I didn't get to plant yet, and look at that. It's alive there, but the things I planted in the beds are not. Why? I don't know. I don't know. So I'm a little nervous to plant out that kale because I feel like the second I plant it out, it might be gone to some critter. It might be some critter's dinner and not our dinner. So I am waiting a little bit, trying to think about what to do. If you have suggestions, I would love your suggestions down below. Any help you have with pests is very much appreciated. As I said, it could be like 6 or 7 different kinds of pests. I don't even know which ones. I think there's also a chicken that keeps getting in our garden from like roosting up in these really tall eucalyptus tree, like 40 feet tall eucalyptus. And I think it kind of comes down the morning sometimes and flutters over my garden fence. So there's not a whole lot I can do about that one. But yeah, any suggestions? I always welcome your suggestions. So guys, that's it for the garden tour. I thought about showing you how our citrus is doing, but that will probably just have to be a different video. Maybe I'll do a citrus update video or something because this is already getting really long and this is just the veggie garden. We have other fruit trees. We have our persimmons almost ripe, which is very exciting. Whew. We covered them with like a netting. So the ground squirrels and deer, that's another pest we have, our deer. Cute pests. They would not take them all. They took all of our apples. They took all of our peaches. So thankfully we're getting persimmons. I really appreciate when you join me, and hopefully this was relatable and also encouraging that even when things go wrong, it is still worth it to garden, and we don't have to be totally discouraged and quit. Taking a break is fine sometimes. We all need breaks in life, but I think the benefits outweigh the bad stuff, and hopefully you can see that there's good things that happen here as well as the bad, and we can embrace that in life. Sometimes the hard things, often the hard things make the good things that much sweeter. I will see you in the next video, and I'll also see you in November when I do our November garden tour. It will look very different, I am sure.